Okay, we're talking about more people being online, more people being using the computer on a daily basis. Also, there's the question of the protection online, and one of the ways to protect your valuables online, of course, not just online, especially your computer, is the ability to be able to fight viruses. And we hear that Microsoft and Intel found a way to identify malware, and which, of course, is very, very dangerous. Could cripple a whole computer system, as it were. So, what is the story exactly, and what does this mean, and how important is this to everyone listening now?
No, it's a great innovation, and we're all watching out for what this would, what this will really result into. So, like you said, it's a collaboration between Microsoft and Intel, and they're saying they're coming up with an AI-powered program that can inspect images for traits indicating malicious behavior. So, simply put, it scans a code, scans, a website that you are visiting, do a quick scan of it, come up with a 2D image, and quickly analyzes whether there are malware in that code or not, and can help you detect malware so that you can avoid it. It's crucial because, like you said, we're all, we're all interacting with all sort of codes and all sort of websites on a daily basis. And
that's right.
These developers are just coming up with, all sort of, intrusion mechanism, for embedded in, software and application. And, this is one step forward where Microsoft and, Intel are using artificial intelligence to detect, just through a scan and image to alert you if to interact with a malicious page or not. So this is interesting. We see how soon they will commercialize this, and how quickly users will adopt the use of this technology to prevent malware and to prevent all sorts of cyber exposure when they're navigating online.
Absolutely, very, very important. So now, lastly, today on Tech Roundup, we were going the way of Google, or should I say YouTube, and finding out what's happening from that side of the divide. A new study, is said to have revealed that the YouTube videos on the platform is still contain some videos contain misinformation about the coronavirus pandemic. And, we talked about misinformation, fake news, and a couple of times right here. So what's happening? Can you tell me more about this particular story and how it affects us right here?
Yeah, I felt that this story will interest you because I know that you spend quite a lot of time talking about fake news and misinformation. I know you're very passionate about that, and you educate your listeners. So this was a study that was done recently, analyzing about 69 videos on YouTube. And it was discovered that about 27% of those videos had misleading information about the pandemic. Let's remember that there's a lot of information on YouTube and other publishers these days talking about the coronavirus pandemic and things around. So to put this in context, it means that from this analysis, 1 out of 4 videos that were online were non-factual. And that's dangerous. When you're talking especially about a pandemic, when you're talking about people not taking this seriously, when you're talking about people saying that this is a hoax, this is something by billionaires to get people to take vaccines. And, this study challenged Google, the owners of YouTube, to check out, those videos and take more precautions on what's really going on. Obviously, the first reaction was Google saying that, the sample size was too small, 69, and that does not necessarily reflect, the true status of things. But what was even more scary, Collins, is that these videos already saw 62 million views. So you can imagine how quickly, yes, you can imagine how quickly misinformation can spread, when you don't take care of it quickly. And not just Google, we're saying that, publishers of information, online information, must take precaution when publishing information out, especially at this time. And we feel that, these three areas must be their focus when they are publishing information online. One, subject must be, content must be subject to reviews and examination before they are published. You talk about this all the time. I'm sure you guys take care of that on radio, just making sure that we're limiting misinformation as much as possible. Sources of non-factual information should be blocked from the platform. So once you discover that there's a source that's propagating false information, I'm sure, I think publishers of content should block such misleading sources from exposing more information on their platform. And lastly, I think there should be more attention paid to reports of false content. So, we should let people know that a particular source, people should pay attention to information coming from it, so that, people know that generally there's a need for them to fact check those sources before they start propagating information coming from such sources. So that's the third article on Tech Roundup today.
Great, fantastic. And that wraps up the Tech Roundup for today. But before we go, a number of the week is up next. And we hear it is 300 million. 300 million what?
It is 300 million is mind-boggling. And this is what Zoom says is the number of active users on Zoom calls on a daily basis in the month of April. Let's think about that for a second. You have a product that about 300 million people get on it every day for a period of time to communicate. That's 300 million. It's mind-boggling, and that's where we're talking about virtual meetings and online meetings and those providing those solutions to us today. It's mind-boggling, and I encourage listeners to check it out and see what these players are doing in the market these days.
Then again, I'm thinking in my head, what is happening to our techies? I mean, why aren't we coming up with local solutions? Why can't we have our own Zoom? That's the ripple effect of us owning some of these platforms by ourselves. You know what that would mean to the digital economy of our nation, which of course is very important too. I mean, why is it like we don't have do we lack facility? What's the problem, Wally?
No, so first of all, I think that players like Zoom and Skype and WebEx, those players those products existed before the pandemic. People were using them. There's just a boom around them for obvious reasons right now. So it's not that, these guys went innovating immediately. They saw the opportunity. These were a product that existed. Obviously, they had to do some additional things like patching, address security concerns, and things like that. From a Nigerian standpoint, Nigerian entrepreneurs are also taking advantage of things that are booming. I must say, last week, you and I spoke about, ride-hailing or bike-hailing companies that are now, pivoting into providing logistic solution for e-commerce. That's seeing a boom these days, and companies are taking advantage of it. We're seeing companies in my space, payments, taking advantage of contactless payments, touchless payments, waiting around that. So in our way, in our economy, tech entrepreneurs are taking advantage of what's going on. It's just not at a global level, like scale that the likes of Zoom are looking at it. By the way, I heard there's a company out of East Africa already piloting a virtual meeting solution like this. Let's see what the option will be like going forward.
All right, great. That's great news. And right now I'm smiling because, we've been talking about these things way before now. And it's feeling like we're prophets And I keep saying that every week. Thank you again, Wale Farron, for speaking with us. And how can we get more information about you and on Tech Roundup on social media?
Yeah, so for all these articles that we review on the platform and much more, people can check out the Tech Roundup website. It's TechRoundup.tv. We break tech stories and opinions on that platform every day, so you can check it out. But for our weekly Tech Roundup videos, people can subscribe to Tech Roundup on YouTube, follow Tech Roundup on Facebook, and check out Tech Roundup 1 on Twitter and Tech Roundup on Instagram. Personally, you can follow me at Wale Farron. Wale Farron. Farron is spelled Faroun on LinkedIn. I'll connect. Let's chat about tech.
Absolutely. Let's chat about tech. And that wraps up the Tech Roundup and indeed TechieTalk for today. Thank you so much for speaking with us today on the show, Wale Farron. Stay safe, stay strong, be good, and keep shining.
Thanks, Collins. Have a good one.
You too. Yes, of course, a Tech Roundup.